You know, I think many times we focus on, rightfully so, the women, why, or the victims, why didn't they leave, why did they stay? So I'm going to pose a question, why do abusers abuse? And so I'm going to turn to you, Suleiman, and see if you have a response for this.
Okay.
And then we can certainly give them others.
You know, I used to, the question is, why do abusers abuse? I used to really struggle with that. You know, I think about movies I've seen, I think about music I've listened to, I think about what I witnessed growing up. Why do we abuse? And after really staying with the question for a while, I came up with three things. One is that it works. Because once I do it and I set that example, I don't have to do it anymore. I can just look at you. I can just have a tone in my voice. I can just have an expression or how can I say, my body language. And it gives a message. So it works. The other thing is because I can. You know, it's not so recent that the laws changed. Early on, there was British common law that this country was founded on. And for those of you who may recall the rule of thumb, the rule of thumb was a law that said it was permissible for a man to beat his wife as long as he used an instrument that was no wider than the base of his thumb. The law is the foundation for our system, British common law. Now, I'm from the state of North Carolina, and I'll say to you, up until about 35 years ago, there was a law in the books that said it was okay. It was okay for a man to beat his wife. It was, well, let me back up. It was not acceptable. Let me take it from that direction. It was not acceptable for a man to beat his wife on Sunday because he needed to respect the Sabbath.
Wow.
You see, so those are some of the laws that have left. So I knew I could get away with it. The other thing is that it's learned behavior. Many of us witness it growing up. You know, oftentimes in DeKalb County, where I have an opportunity to work with a lot of men, I get a chance to, there's a workshop that we do called Tactics and Choices. And every other Friday, I'm in the room with anywhere from 45 to 50 men who have been arrested for misdemeanor cases related to domestic violence. And oftentimes I will ask these men, how many of you experienced a man assaulting your mother growing up? And over half of the hands in the room go up. And it says something to me that in that moment, not only do I have the perpetrator, but I also have the victim. And how do you hold that? How do you work with men? Where's the compassion, the empathy that you need to do the work, to hold him accountable, and it also being mindful of his victimization? So those are the three things that come up for me when I think about why men use abusive or aggressive partners.
Anything else to add?
I could say I can piggyback off what Suleiman said, and that's what happened with the situation with the gentleman that I was dating. When he had started abusing me, and he had gotten to a point where, because one night that I was not intimate with him in the way he wanted, he threw me up against a wall, dragged me down the middle of the highway by nothing with my nightgown, and just that was it. And I had a code with my son. I said, whatever you do, baby, always be safe and just be safe. And I'm trying to get help. And this gentleman who I was dating took a 38, put it to my temple, pulled the hammer back and told me, if I can't have you, nobody can. And when I addressed this issue with his mother, she said, I understand what you're talking about, because his father had abused me. And it derived from that. And she said that's the way he felt like that was his way he could show love to her, by beating her. So it is definitely true to what you said, to some of this has derived from situations from their past, from their familyhood or whatever, but it has to come to a point that they have to learn how to stop and get control and understand, I have such issues, and your past should not determine your future.
Exactly.
It's simple as that. But yeah, it's sad. And then the question you asked earlier, why people stay? Because out of fear of the unknown. Same thing as myself, leaving in the middle of the night with nothing but my clothes on my back, with my son fleeing my home because this man told me, if I can't have you, nobody can. And it's just a sad thing, but my whole thing is domestic violence, it does happen, not just to the person it happens to, but the children involved. They can also be scarred from that. And my situation, my son did. And we had to get him the counseling that he needed. But because I didn't want that to come back from what he saw, what I went through, what you said, Sudomite, to say that was okay for you to see your mother being whipped or beaten, whatever, and then he turned it on to his wife or his girlfriend or whatever, because I saw my mom did it, so I think it's right for me to do that too. So yeah, you are correct to say that there's issues because it happens right there.